Welcome, viewers, to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio, that is I, where no God is required for a life of love, joy, peace, fulfillment, meaning, and purpose in life. And the good life is one that's guided by reason and motivated by love. Got a great message today. I've been fired up about this for quite some time. I'm going to discuss atheist normality. What is atheist normality? Why we should make atheism normal in our country, and how to do it. Number one, the word normal. I think we all understand the word. Regular, typical, usual. Does our society here in the United States of America look at us as atheists, as secular humanists? Do they look at us as normal or abnormal? Well, let me start with a quote from Roy Speckhard, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the executive director of the American Humanist Association, one of the wonderful organizations that I support. We must not pass up any opportunity to put a human face upon that which is being demonized. We, speaking of atheists and humanists, taking every opportunity to come out and let believers see that we are good people and we are normal. We must come out. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about something that I started this morning. Andrew, my friend, my fellow activist, and I went out early this morning, and I took some time to have a few posters made up this week. And as you'll notice, this one right here, very simple and basic, ask an atheist. Very clear, simple. Next one, I like to have the word humanism up there along with atheism, so my believing friends out there will understand. Next one, secular humanism, good without God. The purpose of this campaign that I came up with not too long ago is to attempt to normalize atheism. And we're going to discuss that today. Why do we need to promote atheist normality? Number one, because our American, very Christian society thinks and believes that we, as secular humanist atheists, are irregular, below average, immoral, etc. And the list goes on. How do I know? I go out every weekend, Andrew and I and some others at times, or even by myself. I have talks with Christians and the leaders in the churches. And they do not understand why we're good and why we are good. There's a misconception there. It is up to us to inform and educate these people. Number one, we want to make it normal in our very, very Christian country. Number two, why promote atheist normality? Number two, once atheism is normalized in this country. Now, do I think it's going to happen in my generation? Probably not. The way we are headed as a country, we are slowly becoming secularized, which is good. My job is to tell everybody I can that you can be good without a God. And atheism is not evil. I want it to be normalized. So once atheism is normalized, an openly secular and atheistic politician will be voted into office. I hope that will happen one day. One of the favorite questions and common questions that I ask believers all the time when I talk to them, and even the pastors, would you, my Christian friend, ever vote for a man or woman who was running for a particular political office that was a out-of-the-closet secular humanist and atheist? It is hard for many of them to answer that. And the answers I get are usually, probably not, David. Why, I ask them, would you not vote for someone who is secular? Because, David, the Bible is moral. We must stand upon the true Word of God because our country is a Christian country. We're going to discuss that in a moment. So the more secularized, the more normalized that atheism becomes in our very, very religious and Christian country, the chances of someone who is secular being voted into office will increase. And it will also prevent an autocratic theocracy. Do not be fooled, my atheist friends that are viewing. I was once a fundamentalist Christian preacher. My father was a pastor. I understand the right-wing Christian movement. I've been there and I've done that. I kid you not, and don't be fooled. They, the right-wing Christian movement, do want a Christian theocracy. They are fighting with everything they have to make this book right here, the adult book of fairy tales, fables, absurdities, and atrocities. Of course, I renamed the Holy Bible. They want their book, their tenet of faith, to be the supreme law of the land. The Constitution says that the Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land. We must normalize atheism so that one day our country will be ready to vote into office government officials who lack belief in the supernatural and who are secular, just like our Constitution says. The Constitution makes zero mention of religion or gods or deities. We are not to be governed by religion. Now, number 3, why do we promote atheist normality? Number 3, well, starting on January the 20th, here we are in 2017, we need now more than ever to fight against the right-wing movement that wants to continue to dehumanize atheists, secularists, and humanists, or any other belief system other than Christianity. We must fight against Christian supremacy. Christian supremacy has been ruling far too long in our country. And now more than ever is a time for we who are secular to stand up against what we are about to experience in about 5 or 6 days from now. A cabinet, a right-wing, Republican, very Christian cabinet. And I could go on with each individual who Donald Trump has elected and what they believe and what they do not believe. Do not be fooled, my atheist friends out there. Their objective, their goal and agenda is to Christianize this country and to uphold what I call Christian supremacy. My goal and our goal should be to make it equal. Egalitarianism, equality for all. So we must fight for equality and for rights for every individual. Well, David, you're just trying to take away Christians' rights. You're trying to take away their individual rights. Well, actually, I'm not. I'm trying to uphold the Constitution. We all have freedom of speech. We can believe whatever we want to, but you cannot put your belief system and force it upon other people, put it into government and politics, and into the science rooms in the school. We must keep that separate, religion and politics. I could go on and say Donald Trump has elected many right-wing Christian officials. We could talk about Mike Pence and his disregard for evolution, his disdain for science and evolution. We could go on and on and on. Christian supremacy must be eradicated. Now, you're thinking, why do we need to stand up? Why do we need to be activists? The problem will not be fixed on its own. We cannot sit there in the corner. We cannot sit in our seats and feel comfortable being around only our atheist, secularist, and humanistic friends. We must open up our mouth. We must educate those that are not informed about our Constitution, about government, how it should be secular. If we don't, we lose. We must stand and speak truth. I have decided to do this, and many others have decided to fight against this movement. And you're asking, how do you normalize atheism? What can be done? Well, number one, just like the quote from Roy Speckert from the American Humanist Association, we must not pass up any opportunity to come out as atheists, to come out as humanists, to educate, and to put a human face upon that which is being demonized. Last weekend, Christine and I went out to eat at a nice little restaurant here in Austin. Had one of my favorite atheist t-shirts on in the restaurant. And I believe it was the This Is What an Atheist Looks Like t-shirt, which I ordered from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Wonderful foundation up in Madison, Wisconsin. And as I approached our table, I was greeted very aggressively by a very strong, evangelistic Christian lady, probably in her 50s, my age, close to 60. She stuck out her hand and said, "Hi, this is what a Christian looks like." We had some really good talk for about 10 minutes or so. She did not understand why I had my atheist t-shirt on. And she began to be a little irritated at me because I was boldly showing and displaying my unbelief in God. And I began to explain to her why I just want to be accepted as normal. I want to normalize atheism. And another reason I do what I do and other activists do what we do is to help the majority of atheists, humanists, secularists, and agnostics, because the majority of us are not activists. The majority of us do not want to come out of the closet. I and many others in activism for atheism and humanism are doing it to help other unbelievers. Most unbelievers do not want to tell others they want to stay in the closet. My encouragement to you, and I would highly recommend that you slowly come out to people. Now, I was once known as the friendly neighborhood atheist in my old previous neighborhood up in North Austin. And I would boldly tell people, everyone in the entire neighborhood, about my stance and my unbelief in God and atheism. Many of my neighbors watched my lifestyle. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you come out as an atheist, it's a win-win situation. Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and all those who believe in gods do not understand why we're good people. It's up to us to educate them. But they're watching you. Now, I used to do this as a pastor and an evangelist. I would tell the flock, right, the dumb sheep, that unbelievers are watching you. You must let your light shine. You must live above reproach. You must be moral and ethical and let them see that our lifestyle, serving Jesus, far surpasses the secular lifestyle and why they need Jesus. I do the same thing. I'm just myself. But I will tell you right now, if you come out as an atheist and you let your light of reason shine and you show that you put a human face on that which is being demonized, if you put a human face and let your neighbors, your friends, your co-workers, your family know that you lack belief in a God, I'm telling you right now, Christians are going to watch every move you make. And they will try to out-nice you. I've had that many times happened to me before. They will attempt every way possible to convince you that God is real. We know that. But when you put a human face on it, and you let your light shine of goodness and kindness, and that progressive philosophy of life, which is secular humanism, that helps other people, that is moved with compassion and empathy, trying to make this world better every day, it's very confusing to them. It's a conundrum. It's a win-win situation when you come out of the closet. It's educational for unbelievers. Yeah, they're going to watch you. They're going to keep an eye on you. They're going to see if you sin. They're going to see how you treat other people. When they see you loving your kids and grandkids as much as they love their kids and grandkids, when they see you and your responses to other human beings, your behavior, they're going to think, wow, this person is just as moral and ethical as I am. Even though my pastor, my preacher tells me that people that do not believe in God, they're incapable of producing ethical behavior. Now, when you let your light shine of reason, of just being human and being good without God, it will cause them, not all of them, but some of them, to begin to think and to begin to apply reason over faith. Why? They're told on a constant basis that you cannot be good. You cannot have a good life without belief in the Lord Jesus Christ. And I tell every believer I can, my testimony, how I let go of God, my life is so much better. So, how do we normalize atheism in our very, very Christian society? Number one, we got to come out of the closet. They'll never know. In fact, if you're a good, kind person, like most of us are, they're going to assume you're a believer. That happens to me all the time. I've done case studies. I've asked people that I've run into and had business dealings with in bank tellers, people in convenience stores where I purchase gum or coffee or gasoline for my vehicle. And I've asked people, hey, I'm going to ask you a question, multiple choice question. And I'll tell you the answer at the end. There's three possible answers. A, would you think since you know me a little bit, you know about my character, would you think I am a very strong Bible-believing Christian? Number two, would you think maybe I was like a humanist or a secularist or an atheist or agnostic? And number three, or would you think I was either a Hindu or Buddhist? I would put a different religion. I'd give them 3 or 4 choices, invariably 95% of the time. And I've done this case study many times with people, all around. Almost every time, most of them say Christian. And I'll ask them, I'll say, okay, what's the answer? A, B, or C? And I'll do a little drum roll, have a little fun with them. And the answer is, sure enough, most of them say, well, a Christian. That's a no-brainer. And then I say, well, before I give you the correct answer, why would you think I was a Christian? Invariably, every time, most of the time, I get, well, you seem happy, you seem nice, you seem concerned, and the list goes on. All these characteristics which believers are told come only from the Bible, their relationship with Jesus or Allah, whoever their deity is, and their God. These are human characteristics. These are all human characteristics. The love and the happiness and the joy and so forth. So we've got to put a face on atheism. Number two, how do we normalize atheism? We educate believers. When I go out and talk to believers as an evangelist, to normalize atheism, and to let people know, hey, here I am, I'm an atheist. I love my kids and grandkids just as much as you do. You don't need a God to be good. Well, it's about education. Most of them do not know. I say this in probably every message on my YouTube channel. And I say it all the time. When I go into churches, coffee shops, Bible studies, Sunday school classes, and now going out with my new thing, which I can't wait to do more often. Standing there with a sign, passing out literature to people on city streets and in parks, educating people that you can be good without God. Think of it as education number one. We must educate them about our secular constitution. Now, I can tell you some names in government, in our future government role, and the offices that Donald Trump has placed people into, and many of them do not believe in the separation of church and state. They think we are ill-informed. Well, the truth is, it's a secular constitution. We need to educate them. We need to educate them about free speech, equality for all, and secular humanism, which is our belief system as atheists, being good without God. Another way, number three, how to normalize atheism. Find your passion and find your strengths. We all, individual human beings, have different strengths and abilities. I could say David Oliverio, the college dropout, former Pentecostal, tongue-talking, evangelical, fundamentalist, evangelist preacher, years and years ago. I can tell you, I have a few strengths, which I would say I'm very, very good at. But I can tell you a million things I'm not good at all. That's why I depend upon people, not upon a God. Other people who have different strengths and abilities. So we must find our passion. We must find what our abilities are. Genetic, given to us through the genetic, for our genes, different abilities we all have. Find those abilities and strengths and focus on those. There are so many things you can do. You can support secular organizations. And I can go on record saying this, and I'll continue to say it. Places like Freedom From Religion Foundation, the American Atheist Association, American Humanist Association, and all the other secular organizations that are fighting for we free thinkers and our equality and our rights in keeping religion out of government. Find a secular, humanist, or atheist charitable foundation. Support those. Join these groups and support financially any way you can. They need our help. We don't have to depend upon prayer and upon some deity providing for us. We don't believe in that. We have got to help each other and fight this fight. So find your passions, find your abilities, and let's work. Let's work for a cause. Let's tell people and educate people. They're not going to know unless you tell them. They're not going to even know what an atheist is or a humanist is. Why we're atheists and humanists. They're not going to know. Why? Because no one's telling them. I don't hear anybody on Sunday morning radio. I would love to get on the radio. I don't have the money to do it. Sunday morning, and yeah, I do listen to Christian radio when I'm driving in my car, visiting my clients Monday through Friday during the weekdays. Why do I do that? Because I want to be a preacher again? Hell no. I do it to understand, to keep up with what the Christian right is saying and thinking about us. They know they're losing ground, which is good. And they're coming hard against the secular world, telling their flock and their sheep, as the shepherds have to protect the sheep, that we are destroying this country and that they must pray as hard as they can and fast and get Jesus out and start more churches so that our country will go back and make America great again, right? Well, we were on the right path up until November 8th. Now we got to fight. We got to stand up for humanity. We got to stand up for rights. We got to tell these people that it's not a bad thing to be human. I'm not born with a sin nature. I'm not cursed. I'm a human being. I make choices using reason over faith. We make good choices in life. So find your passion. Find your strength. Let's stand up together. Let's draw together as a unit of unbelievers and let our light shine. Be kind to these people. Be kind to believers, but understand they've been infected with a virus, and we must help them. We must help them understand. Once we are normalized, somebody will say, you know what? Yeah, I'm a Christian, but I like this candidate over here running for governor. This man or this woman is an outright atheist, but I like the way he or she presents himself. I like the policies. I like the way he is into human rights and so forth. Well, once atheism becomes normalized, more of these people that are even Christian will not find it so offensive because the A word will be normalized. So we need to normalize the A word and make it a good and moral word. Can it be done? I think it can be. It's going to take time. We got to roll up our sleeves, not be ashamed. I remember I used to preach the Bible years ago. I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation, to the Jew first and to the Gentile. I can say now, as I speak to Christians, I am not ashamed of my atheism. I'm a very proud atheist. I see nothing wrong with it. It's not evil. It's not immoral. It's a lack of belief in God. But we progress into secular humanism, which is being good without a God. Let your light shine, my fellow atheists. Let's get out, put that human face on that which is being demonized, which is atheism. All right, I've said enough. Thanks for watching the Preaching Humanist. If you like what you heard today, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful day.